Good morning, everybody. First time I ever done a morning video. It's 9:20 where I'm at, so pretty early morning video. Just want to go over a couple of things real quick. First off, hey Nancy Pelosi, glad you're out of here. Good riddance. I wish the best for you. Just stay out of politics from now on, please. Something else is I've got some drone footage of where I live at during the day, fall colors, and at night. Trying to get worked out how I can get that downloaded on here so you guys can check that out. It's kind of, I don't know. I wish the video quality was a little better, but it makes the point. What was another thing? Another thing is, what the hell is with the UN telling Trump to quit bombing boats full of drugs coming to this country, to quit sinking them? I mean, how much more freaking ridiculous can you get? Like they're hauling dope. I think it's from Venezuela or South American countries, and they're hauling them into the country in boats. And Hegseth and Trump, they figured out what was going on, so they're just, I think they're sending drones out on these boats, and they're sinking them. And now the UN on the other side of the world is saying, hey, you can't do that. Somebody please tell me, what the reasoning behind that is. I mean, I understand there's probably a lot of money being made and a lot of money being lost, but for God's sakes, I mean, what do you do? Just like the cartels on the southern border, stop all that traffic and flow. Somebody someplace else in the world that's not dealing with that issue, they're going to come up and they're going to say, hey, quit doing that. Quit stopping the cartel from doing their illegal activities. Is that what's going to happen? I don't know. I just say it's a bizarro world. Everything's upside down. Things that don't make sense. People are trying to make it make sense. And it's all because of TDS. Now, I'm a fan of this guy. I have been from the beginning. That's not a secret. I don't beat him over your head. I just like the job that he's doing. I like the approach that he's doing. But then you have these spun out places like New York City. What the F is going on in New York City? Like, are people, and I'm not going to say people, I'm going to focus this more on younger people. When I say younger than I am. I'm 53, so I'll say 30 and younger. And I don't mean all of them by any stretch of the imagination, but the ones that I've watched video interviews of, it's like they can't say free stuff enough. Like they're so concerned about getting free stuff, like they're entitled to all this free stuff. And this Mamandawi, whatever his name is, he promised them free stuff. And then the very same day that he won the election, he started begging for money so he could give all this free stuff away. Now, I've never been in New York City other than the sights to see, like the Statue of Liberty and, some of the skyscrapers and downtown and things like that. I have no interest in going to New York City. Far too congested, far too many people. I'm not going to make it there in my lifetime, and I'm okay with that. But I don't think it's a nice place. Could be. I'm sure there's boroughs and I'm sure there's neighborhoods that are nice places, but just generally speaking, they should be more concerned about other things as far as the city is concerned, not free stuff. Like, I don't know, jobs. Like, I don't know, keeping residents that are millionaires there. I read a thing where it was like there were so many thousand millionaires just packing up and leaving and getting the hell out of there. And I don't blame them. But what are they trying to do? Create like a war zone? What was that Kurt Russell movie? Escape from New York? Is that what they're trying to do? Like, seriously? I did read where a guy said that they were intentionally trying to collapse this country. And after what I've seen, I mean, I can't argue with that. I know you can go to Minnesota and they've got a lot of problems in Minnesota. I wonder how we got on this trend to where, and I use this term lightly, where we invite somebody into this country from another country, from say a third world shithole country. We invite them in And then, within a couple of years, we just put them in charge. Like we just make them the mayor, or we make them the governor, or we just like put them in charge. And they don't know anything else other than a shithole country. So that's what they do, is they turn it into a shithole country or shithole city or a shithole state. Or like, I don't understand what some of these Americans, once again, use that term loosely. What are they thinking? Like, is the theory, if I can't have it, if I can't have it my way, I'll just burn it to the ground? Because that seems to be what's happening. Um, I'm not far from Dearborn, Michigan. Anybody that knows about Dearborn, Michigan, I don't have to explain. If you don't know about it, do the research. What the hell is going on? This is like bizarro world to me. And I have to, and I think a lot of people do this. Like I like politics. I don't get into sports. I like watching politics. I like seeing what's going on, and I kind of like. I look at it as a sporting event. It's more sporting than it is political. Um, Lindsey Graham, what's going on with Lindsey Graham? I used to like that guy. He said a couple things, man, where I cheered him on, and now it's just like he's spun out, and I just don't get it. I don't understand why. I don't understand why peace is not at the top of everyone's list. Instead, it's like, I want to kick your ass. I'm going to kill you. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. The country with the big capital I. What's going on there? Like, do people not realize how much control we've allowed places like that to have in our home? I don't. You invite somebody into your home. I don't. There's nothing wrong with giving them a little bit of control, but on the last page of the book, it's my house and it's my. If I don't agree with the rules, we're not going to do it. And then you get these judges that like with the SNAP program. Eat your damn shoe. If you don't want to get a job, eat your shoe, or go to stand in line and get a block of government cheese and a can of meat to feed your family. You're not going to starve. You don't need Hot Pockets. You don't need Suzy Q's and Twinkies and Star Crunch and Christmas tree cakes and soda pop and all. I mean, that's not sustained. That's not food to sustain your life, but that's what it's turned into. And now all these people are so freaking entitled to, like, there's a lot of people on SNAP benefits that's never worked a day in their life, not one day. And that's kind of a tough subject for me because when I was 18 years old, 19 years old, I had a baby. I worked a job for $4.35 an hour, and we needed food stamps, and we got a couple $100 a month worth of food stamps. I ultimately worked myself out of that, and I paid into the system for many, many years. And in the last 10 years of my working career, because, well, I don't work anymore. The last 10 years of my working career, I was a single, no dependence, and I made a really good paycheck. So they took a lot. They took as much out of my taxes as a lot of people made. That's a lot of people made for an income. So it's kind of a sore subject for me because I put a lot of money in, and then I get disability because I have this thing dragging around with me that I need. I can't do without it. So I'm not saying cut benefits. And as far as entitlements, I don't know if that would fall under entitlement. That's more like I paid in case shit happened, and now I need to be paid so that I can pay my bills so that I can buy groceries. I haven't sat around and had 8, 9 kids and say I can't work because I got 9 kids. And believe it or not, I did see that. The lady said she can't work because she's got 9 kids with 8 different dads, and the dads aren't helping. So now we got here. There's my little rant. I started in on that because there's judges that are trying to tell the Trump administration how to run the country. And that is just so freaking wild to me that one of our previous or several of our previous administrations installed all these judges so that they can just like a bum referee. They're always just throwing flags for no reason and stopping the game and stopping things from happening. And it's blowing my mind. It's just blowing my mind. Is the president nothing more than cardboard piece of paper standing up. It says president, but has no control, no power, because the Democrats and the judges have all the control and the power just because they stand on what they consider the rule of law. I say not. I say this new MAGA party that I've been reading about, I'll say conservatives. I don't mean all of them. I'll say Republicans. I don't mean all of them. There's going to be a split. There has to be a split. And it's showing. It's coming to the surface. I made a video quite a while ago that it said the creatures were coming to the surface. And, unfortunately, my opinion, until I see or read something different, guys like Lindsey Graham, people that are just so insistent in war, just so insistent on what do you call the American influence being forced down people's throats other places in the world. We got to draw back, man. We got to draw back, and we can't be worrying about what Venezuela's doing until they start sending boats across the ocean. And it's like they're always, I don't know, they're always getting their fingers in their hands and stuff. But hey, the country with the big capital I believe that's doing the same thing. Anytime you have to make laws, like laws to protect a certain population, maybe, is that the way to say it? It's going to be abused, and especially after decades, it's going to be abused. It's going to be figured out how it can be abused the best, and they're going to abuse it. And that's, I think, what's happening. Like, I watch Marjorie Taylor Greene, and just because you question what somebody's doing doesn't mean that you hate them. And you get into anti-Semite laws, which I don't think there are really any laws that exist, but the sentiment for anti-Semite, just because you question what they're doing and have questions about what they're doing, doesn't mean that you hate them. You can tell your neighbor, hey, why are you building this big tall fence? That doesn't mean you dislike your neighbor, but they've designed it and they've worked it into that way. Look at some of these news people and podcasters and YouTube people. And I mean, you mentioned the word Jewish or Israel, and you better be smiling and have nice things to say. Otherwise, they're going to cast hate on you. They're going to throw it on you as hard as they can, and get you to, like, you can't talk bad about that. And when I say bad, I don't mean throw them under the bus and stomp them down. I'm saying, like, and I don't know, I'd have to go back, and I believe this to be true, but Israel's about the size of New Jersey, and they don't have a lot of natural resources. And the one thing they do have that makes them, the power that they are in that part of the world is, first and foremost, they have nuclear weapons. Nobody else does. And it's like they will bomb and terrorize anybody else that wants the same type of weapon that they have, because once the cat's out of the bag, the cat's out of the bag. And they don't want Iran to have it. I don't want Iran to have it. I don't want them to have it. I don't think anybody should have nuclear weapons and inner ICBMs. I don't think anybody really needs that. What are we going to do? Like, blow the planet up so that the Palestinians can't have Gaza? I mean, like, think what you're doing, people. But anyway, back to the country with the big capital I. They have worked, the United States being their big brother and their protector, they have worked it into the ground. I think as a whole, I think they've abused the United States because of that. And they've wormed their way into the politics in this country. And I don't think that's wise. I don't think that's the smart thing to do. And that's just my opinion. All this is just opinion based. I'm not for sure on a lot of it. It's just opinion based. But it seems like a bizarro world to me. I'm fortunate. I live in a place that's pretty peaceful and pretty safe and pretty quiet. But it's not like that all over the world, especially not in this country. I don't live far from Chicago, and Chicago's like, you know, Chicago's not a nice place. You can go to nice places. People go. I have friends that they go there. They go there often and have a good time. Go to the Navy Pier and go, on the lakefront, and they do a good job of keeping that, pretty safe and clean. But you get into where people live, like where they live their daily lives, and you know, you got that mayor up there that's just like, these people want to be in charge so bad they'll be in charge of a shithole just to be in charge. And once again, that's one thing I've never understood is how they get so many. The piles of money they deal with are so big, but by the time it gets doled out to all the politicians and the people that are supposedly doing something around there, nothing ever gets done, and it just freaks me out. Like, like you ever get a job and you just don't do it? Nobody does anything when you don't do it, and then the company can't make no money, and it goes under, and you're just like, hey, what's going on? Support me. I need money because I didn't do my job, and now my company's failing. It's just like it's so stupid. Morning coffee. So there's that. That's my rant on the country with the big capital I. My rant on the SNAP program. Um, let's back up to the sinking the boats that are coming across from South America full of dope. I just can't, in my wildest imagination, I just can't come up with. I can't come up with a reasoning behind that. Like, what would be the reason that the UN would publicly say, President Trump, you have to stop sinking these boats full of drugs that are coming to your shores? Like, I don't, dope dealers, dope manufacturers, they're just trying to make a better life for their family. Let them bring their product in and poison your population. Like, there's no other place in the world you get away with that. Well, maybe in Europe nowadays, how they let anything go on in Europe. But you go to these countries where they say they're dictators, you won't get away with that shit there, not in a minute, and rightfully so. Who wants boatloads of dope coming into their shores and poisoning their kids? And nowadays, it's not even kids. It's like it'll poison everybody. If you question, Google in Kensington. Google it, check it out. Look at the live streams, look at the videos. It's terrible. It's terrible what dope is doing to people. And other countries that oppose this country, and even people inside, they just allow it to pour in, and they just want it to be. I guess that's the only thing that kind of makes sense, is that there are bodies out there that just want to destroy this country from within, from without, from above, from below. It doesn't even matter. So, yeah, there's that. Let's change gears a little bit. What's going on with 3i Atlas? That kind of, as far as I can tell, kind of fizzled out a little bit. Maybe not. I've read where supposedly it came apart. And then I've read same time, different sites that no, it didn't ever come apart. It's still moving along. So I don't know. I dig into stuff, and then I got to kind of back away. My brain starts turning to mush. So I got to kind of back away a little bit. What else? What else could we talk about? I did see an interview on Sean Ryan podcast that he had some big hot shot. I think he was from NASA, and he said that the United States right now is kind of in a race with China to get back to the moon, and in February they're going to fly around the moon. They're not going to land on it yet. But NASA, and I think he said NASA and SpaceX, don't quote me on that, I could be wrong, but they're gonna they're going to launch and they're going to fly around the moon. And I did a video not long ago about questioning whether, there's a lot of people that question whether the United States even went to the moon in the 60s. I don't know. Excuse me. This will be the telltale sign. And, Sean Ryan asked this guy, he's like, why haven't we been back? And I believe this story. First and foremost, it was expensive. Back then it was like $40 billion per flight. So that's like a huge amount of money. And it wasn't like, I don't think it was real fruitful. It's not like you go up there and you get all these resources and stuff. You go up there and you collect things and then you come back. And then secondly, it was just like extremely dangerous. And so this time around, what this guy said was like the hardware and the machinery they're going to take is way, way bigger. It takes way more to get it there, but they've got it worked out. They've got it, planned out for February. So keep your eyes on the sky that they do that, and if they can't do it, that's one thing. You got people talk about the firmament, people talk about flat earth, and you can't make it through the Van Allen belts. And, there's all these theories about stuff, and just keep your eyes open. That's all I got to say. I don't know. I wasn't there. Just don't know. I got my gut feeling. I think they made it. I think the astronauts aren't lying. I think, in short, it would be too big of a lie to keep going. I think they would have been better off really going to the moon than they would be trying to lie to everybody. When I say everybody, I'm talking, mission control. I'm talking about everybody that worked on the lander, on the rockets, on everything. And then to continue it going, like there's no file, no place that's, you open it up and it says, gotcha, we never went, so I don't know. Stanley Kubrick, I think was his name. He said he made it in a studio. And I think a lot of stuff gets out there like that just to muck things up so that you really never know the truth. That's my opinion. Because anytime something happens, there's always a counter that says it doesn't happen. So then you have to just kind of believe what you believe. So anyway, that's my take for the day. I didn't make a video yesterday. I've been feeling real good as far as my health is concerned. Anybody that's watched any of my other videos knows that I have Lyme disease. I have lung disease. It's hard to get around. You have good days and bad days. And unfortunately, I've had more bad days than good days in the past couple of months. No, I can't say that. I've had some bad days where I didn't feel good at all. Went to the doctor, got me on some new meds, kind of going a little bit of a different direction, and I feel pretty good. I'm in stem cell therapy, so that works. That's helped, along with a couple other things. It's not just like take a pill and your problems go away. Boy, I wish that was true. I was hoping for 3-eye Atlas to really be aliens and then come down and wave their ET finger over me and make my lungs better. I was hoping for that, but yeah, I think that kind of fizzled out. But anyway, that's my video for the day. I'll get back on here with a story. I haven't worked out all the details on my scary video. Not scary. What's the word I'm looking for? I'm gonna do a video in an abandoned nursing home, and just walk through the halls at night, and see how freaky it is. I know I've come through there at night with my boss, and coming through there during the day sometimes it's kind of freaky because it's empty. It's a huge place and it's empty. There's still carpeting and there's some stuff laying around, but it's not like a fully staffed with people or furniture because, well, there's nobody in there. So anyway, look for that in the future. That's coming. Just got to get it worked out. I'm trying to incorporate my drone in some videos a little bit, but because I'm a computer idiot, I'm not sure what I'm doing wrong, but look for those in the future. I did one at night. I've done one during the day with the fall colors. For anybody that doesn't know, I live I live in a beautiful community that's older. It was started being built in the 30s. So it's like a lot of really nice craftsmanship, architecture. They're not just pull buildings throwed up and painted nice. They're like brick. It's a nice place. The facility is. I live in an apartment. I like the apartment, but the whole facility, the campus that I live on is beautiful. In the future, when the drone footage happens, you'll see what I'm talking about. So anyway, everybody have a good Friday. It's the weekend. You get through today. Sky's the limit. You got Saturday and Sunday. Spend it with people you care about. Have good time, relax, and don't even think about Monday till late Sunday night. So there you go. Everybody have a good Friday. Have a good weekend, and I will see you soon.